Eric, what were your overall impressions of the match?
Yeah, I obviously leave incredibly frustrated with that because the difference between winning and losing the game is a thread that's been pretty common for us over the course of this year, and defending the second phase of set plays and giving up chances that we really shouldn't against a team like that. That is a big difference. I think if I strip that away and try and look at it a touch more objectively, I think there's elements of the performance that we can be really pleased of, given the stage that we're at, given that for us it feels like almost the start of a new season, and we're obviously in a very different place to the place that Seattle are in, but I feel like we were very good value for a point, if not a win there, based on number of chances, the spark we looked like we had in the second half, and some elements of general play that I feel we probably haven't produced over the course of the last couple of months in that very messy middle period of ours. So in that sense, I feel like the performance was a step forward, but I'll repeat the message that I've repeated to the players in there. We can't find ourselves having to score 4 goals to win games at home and give up the goals that we give up there, and that's an undisputable fact, and I know the players feel that way as well. So all we can do is get back to work on Monday and continue to build on what I feel like were strands of a good performance, and really get our heads down when it comes to the very nitty-gritty stuff in front of our goal, which obviously wasn't good enough tonight.
Did you feel like your team came out flat in the first half? Yeah,
I felt like we lacked a real spark until the early stages of the second half, and it probably wasn't what I expected given the lineup that we went for and the state of things for us, I suppose, and the story of our season up till now. We really wanted a performance that looked like absolute desperation to go and sort of put right the wrongs of the last couple of months, but it didn't feel like we really had that in the first half for the amount of ball we had and the territory that we had. Maybe we did look a little flat, perhaps symptomatic of the fact that we haven't played for 3 weeks or so now, and we got a few guys in there that are at a very early stage of their pre-season. So but the fact we were able to claw that spark in the second half, and I felt that looked to be the case for most of that period.
What did you think of Kelvin Yeboah? It looked like he was pretty confident out there. Going to be assertive for the PK, and then obviously the chip too.
Yeah, a really confident player, a real strong sense of self, real assurance, and he'll in no doubt add to us, which is of course what you'd expect of a player that you bring in the way in which we brought him in. So that is a big plus, a real step forward, a really good start, and I'm sure someone that will be crucial to whether we're successful or not over the course of the next couple of months.
And Jefferson Diaz, he looked good on both ends, and especially towards the end there, he was almost an extra attacker. Was that by design?
Yeah, I think he had a really good start to his time here. Obviously, we give up the first goal as he plays into the middle, but I would say the way in which he showed courage and bravery and personality on the ball to play through the middle, largely we benefited from that far more so than the cost to an extent of the one that we give away at the beginning. And yeah, at the end he actually, prior to coming here, early stage of his career, he was a centre forward. So I felt like at the point at which we couldn't make any more changes, then that was a roll of the dice that was worth taking on. But I think it's a really solid start for him, and I think if you were to strip away the set play goals and we win that game, you'd be looking at both him and Kelvin, and you'd be really pleased with where we are.
On that second goal you conceded, it looked like Jefferson was maybe out of position, had to backpedal for that aerial. What'd you think of that one?
I think we didn't come up particularly well as a group on that, and albeit I do feel like it's a chance that leads to a goal very infrequently from that far out of the back post. So it's a really disappointing one for us to concede. But that general theme of concentration as second and third and fourth phases of set plays take place, that's an area where we've really got to get better. We've got to be more decisive. We've got to be more aggressive, and I can assure you it's not for want of work, want of attention. It's unfortunately just an Achilles heel of ours at the moment that we've really got to get on top of.
You've gone with 2 strikers tonight. How did that look to you, especially defensively, in terms of covering the width of the pitch?
That's always the tough ask, and obviously we tried to make sure that we had some nuances and subtleties to the way we're defending, so that the front 2 and the front 3 weren't constantly having to cover the width of the pitch. And I think didn't feel like we really suffered for any particular tactical problem against them today. I think we looked relatively solid aside from the moments where we turned the ball over cheaply, and Morris is obviously a huge threat on the back line if we're not set and ready to defend the space in behind. So I think that combination of chances that we gave up like that and chances on the second phase of set plays, that's more the problem than anything, I would say, in more organised play.
On those two strikers, you saw both interplay very well together. So obviously, some chemistry built early, and on the other side, you saw, Pookie looking for maybe a diagonal ball and Yeboah playing it, straight ahead. What do you make of their connection and their chemistry?
Yeah, they're players that want to play combinations. They want to be close to one another. We want to be an attacking team. We want to be a front foot team. We want to find a way of getting attacking players on the pitch. Of course, we line up as if we're playing with a back five, but very often we've got wing backs right on the back line. We had a front two playing close to one another. We had Hassani and Rob playing close to the front two. We really hoped that they'd be conditions for us to see a really dynamic attacking performance, and I think in spells we threatened for that to be the case in the first half, but it never really felt like we had proper momentum nor caused real damage. So I think that came after, say, 4 or 5 minutes of the second half and continued to build when we made the first change, and I felt like we looked like if there was a team likely to go on and win it, it would be us at that point at 2-2. So it's really disappointing that we are where we are.
Why was Matus Komet not included?
I think he's still got a little way to go. Komet, obviously, he's in the same way a couple of them are at very different stages of their season to the players that have been playing in the MLS and come from various other leagues. So I think we'll be patient with him for sure and see where he goes over a longer term picture than the next week or two.
Then you've got Yeboah that managed to go the full 90. How is he so far ahead?
Yeah, I think you take it on a case by case basis. And Kelvin, we had designs on him not playing a great deal in the intra squad game that we played last week, and he made it very plain after the period that we'd anticipated for him that he was good to go and wanted to continue in that game, which was a really good sign last week. And then he takes on another week of training and performs really, really well today. And I think given the state of the game at the point at which you might have decided to change, we weren't going to do that at that point, particularly with how he looked. So I think he's come through it fine, which is a really good step.
What does Songbin's versatility allow you to do with him tactically as compared to other right backs?
Yeah, so he's got a really good engine. He can be up and down very quickly. He can get himself on the back line. So we ask him very often to, depending on how the opposition plays, to attack as if he's a winger and defend as if he's a fullback at points, which is obviously the case today with them playing with a very, very wide player on that side. So he's someone that we feel can bring that system to life a bit, I suppose, in that we obviously don't want to attack without the width, without the numbers on the back line, and he's someone that really wants to be there. So I think the combination of him and Joe, that it works well there for us, and we create a lot of chances in that sense. So yeah, we've got to get the other side of the game right. We've got to be good in front of our own goal, and I'm sure results will take care of themselves if that's the case.
On the central midfield, both Lute and Dotson looked very strong on the ball today. Can you talk a little bit about their play overall?
I thought they both had good games. They both drove with the ball really well in the middle when we were able to intercept it. They obviously create a lot of forward momentum. They're dynamic players, and certainly in the second half they looked that way. And I'm not leaving here today scratching my head as to how we're going to move forward and how we're going to create chances and how we're going to win games. I think that was pretty evident for most people to see today, that there are some ingredients there that can put us in a good place. But obviously we've got to play with far more conviction in front of our own goal, and that'll be the difference. But that'll be the difference maker between us being where we want to be come the end of the year and not.